recording. Okay. I think it's recording. Hello everyone and welcome to my first live stream video. My name is Jamal and today I am going to present to you I'm going to show you the results for game week 5 and we're going to plan a strategy for game week 6. So what you're looking at here is my app that I've created. Now on the right hand side I've got a table of all the teams listed here with the total points that they've earned for that particular game week by team. And on the left hand side we are looking at players from every single team and their points. Now what I can do is I can select a team like this, and when I select Arsenal here, this table is going to change to all the Arsenal players, and this is the total points that they have acquired over the past 5 weeks. Now I can do that with every single team, you can see, and I can even click on a particular week. For example, I'm clicking on Aston Villa game week 5 and they've earned a total of 40 FPL points, and this is the breakdown of the points that they've earned. And I can do that for bonus points, attacking returns and DEFCON points. So that's just a bit of introduction of what you're looking at. So I'm going to get straight to game week 5 performance. So looking at game week 5, I'm going to select on game week 5. You can see that there's not many team with any green, which is very different to previous game weeks. So you can see in previous game weeks there's a lot of greens, but for this game week there's not many greens, and the greens are basically teams with the highest points. I can have a quick look and see Leeds were actually the team with the most highest points, and they got 64 points for this game week. And behind them was 61 points from Newcastle. So I can quickly select them to see how they were. Burn got 9 points. Newcastle defenders got quite a lot of points. I have Burn in my team, so I'm quite happy that he got 9 points. I can see he got 2 defensive points here, 2 defensive contribution points. He's made 15 defensive contributions, so he got 2 points for that. A bonus point as well, so he got a total of, and with the clean sheet he got a total of 9 points. Botman got 8 points. You can see he got 2 bonus points, but he was very close to getting defensive points. You can see he made 9 defensive contributions, and we know the threshold to get the 2 points is 10 defensive contributions. So because he was 1 defensive contribution away from getting 2 points. Looking at Leeds got 64 in total, and we can see there's 2 particular players who got the most points, and that's Calvert-Lewin, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He got 11 points. He scored a goal and he made an assist, and he got 2 bonus points, so he got 11 points in total. And Anton Stash, 15 points. My goodness, look at that. Look at those stats. He got 1 goal, 1 assist, 3 bonus points, and on top of that he got 2 defensive points as well. That is mad. He must be the top player of game week 5. So that's really, really good from him. And if we just look at his history stat over the past 5 game weeks, he had a really good game week 1 where he got 8 points. Then from game week 2 to 4 he got very minimal points, and we can see they conceded a lot as well. Game week 2 they conceded 5 goals, and then in the last game week 5 they got 15 points. Okay, I'm gonna have a quick look to see who is the most transfer in and out. So I've just refreshed this earlier. Looks like Semenyo is still the top transfer for, is this, let me double check to make sure that this is correct. I'm gonna refresh again. Just to give you an idea of what I'm doing in the background. If you want to have a look, I'll show you what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay, so now this is refreshed. Okay, and I'll just publish it again. So then my one will be let's get back to this one. Okay, now that's refreshed. Let me just refresh it here. Okay, top transfers so far right now is Haaland. There's been 260,000 transfers already. Surprisingly, I think his name is Justin Timber, the defender from Arsenal, he's had close to 80,000 transfers, but he's already got his price increased by 1. But we can see there's two Man City players and 2 Bournemouth players who are leading the way for top transfers, and this is right up to date right now. Top transfers out: Sanchez, horrible game, red card, so obviously he's not playing next game. Wirtz, he's been playing well, but he hasn't been getting the points, unfortunately, so people are transferring him out. Mohamed Salah is one of the top transfers out, and that makes sense because it's very difficult to have Mohamed Salah and Haaland in your team, so people are choosing to transfer him out so they can get Haaland in. I've actually got Salah in my team and I don't have Haaland in my team yet, so I have to do something. I have to make a decision, but we'll see. But we can see Haaland is on fire right now, so he is the best person to get in if you don't have it already. Okay. Looking at the bonus points, let's click on bonus points and see how people were doing today. Okay, so game week 5, we can see Man United and Leeds with the maximum bonus points in their team. Then we have Liverpool, Man City and Fulham as well. Let's click on Man United. Who got the bonus points? Bruno Fernandes got, how many points did he get today? 10 points today. Smashing. So 1 goal, 3 bonus points, adds up to 10 points. And you can see he did 8 defensive contributions. And for him to get 2 defensive contribution points, a midfielder has to do 12 defensive contributions. So he was still 4 DCs away from getting another 2 points. But we can see Maguire got another 2 points. Maguire, 11 points. Look at that. He had an assist and he only played for 69 minutes. That is crazy. Look at that. I'm going to look into Man United properly in detail. And then Mazaro. I watched that game live and I think he plays really well and I really like him. It's showing he's on 2.2 form, but then again he's got 7 points, 1 clean sheet, 1 bonus point. So how did he get clean sheet? Okay, so he played 64 minutes. He got clean sheet points because he was subbed off before Chelsea scored. So that's why he has the extra 4 points here. Whereas the other players who played for 90 minutes, we can see they did not get the clean sheet points. Okay, that's something I learned last season. Attacking returns. Oh, there's a lot of reds and oranges here. But you can see Leeds has the most attacking returns. And that's 2 from Calvert-Lewin. 1 goal and 1 assist. I remember that. Gravenberch, 2 attacking return. What did he do? 1 goal and 1 assist. He got 15 points. Oh, look at that. 15 points. 3 bonus points. 2 defensive contribution points. He had 1 goal, 1 assist. He had a brilliant game. He might be the player of the week. Let's see who the player of the week is actually. Let's go to points. And click on GameWeek 5. Yes, he got 15 points, the most points. So he will be the stack as well. So how are they going to pick one good player? That's something that's going to be interesting. Okay, but I predicted Anton is going to do well this game week, and he did. I actually predicted Tottenham to do well, and unfortunately they didn't well. They even tripled up. I even tripled up on them, and fortunately Tottenham did not do well. We can see. Well, at least I have Kudus, so I got 7 points from him. And okay, cool. Alright, let's look at the game week fixtures. So okay, so these are so what you're looking at now is you are looking at all the fixtures for game week number 6. So that's upcoming game week. What's going on? That's it. So we've got Brentford versus Man United. I'm gonna quickly go through each one to see if there's any big massive differences in the bar charts, to see if there's a David and Goliath match going on. Okay. And what I'm looking for is a team like this, where we have overlapping dark colored bars, and I'll explain what that means. It just means one team is better than the other. That's all it means. So, for example, looking at Tottenham versus Wolves, we can see that Tottenham have a higher share of goals, whereas Wolves have a higher share of conceding goals. Therefore, we can assume that Tottenham are going to score. Tottenham are very likely to score against Wolves. But I'll start from the top. Brentford versus Man United. Okay, Man United had a decent game. They played against Chelsea. It was, what shall I say? Chelsea had a bad game more than Man United having a good game, to be honest. Chelsea started off badly with Sanchez getting a red card straight away, which was very disappointing. So Man United took advantage of that, and they deserved the win. One mistake I would say the Chelsea manager did was got rid of Powerman and all the attacking players, thinking that they'll be playing against 11 players throughout the game, and we all know what happened. Casemiro got a red card as well, so it was back to 10v10. I was watching the match live and I saw so much space in the pitch. It's quite crazy. But anyways, getting back to the statistics and analytics, we can see, I'm going to ignore the top line home and away win percentages because they haven't really played enough games for that stat to be useful enough to me. But we can see that in terms of goals scored in the past 3 game weeks, they're actually very similar. So Man United scored 5 and Brentford has scored 4. However, goal conceded in the past games is also very similar. Brentford conceded 7, whilst Man United have conceded 6. So it's actually a very, very evenly matched match. So let's have a look at both the teams in detail and how they are performing. So I'll just select Man United here. They have a total of 182 points since 182 points for the past 5 games, and Brentford, which is slightly above, they've got 200 points for the past 5 games. So they have actually got more points than Man United. Let's have a look at both the teams together. So the top, why is that happening? I'll have to fix it later. So the top defenders are Vandenberg. Okay, he just had by the looks of it, a quick look, he had a really good beginning, first 2, not necessarily 2, just the game week 2. He got 8 points. We can see he's very active in defensive contribution points. So he's got 6 defensive contribution points out of a possible 5 times 2, 10. Which is not exactly massively great or anything. Bruno Fernandes, really like him. He got 10 points in game week 5. Mbono 19. Let me just. Okay, he's not on. Gonna come in a second. What's going on? There it is. Okay, it's not necessarily massively crazy points. So, to be honest, just by looking at it, between this match, Bruno Fernandes is the best player to invest in. Man United have been playing quite well. I like the way they play. I'm not a Man United fan, but I like watching them play. They've been actually very aggressive, which is really nice to see, end to end. So I actually personally want to invest in him. We can see that if we look at the fixtures on the bottom right, we can see the next game is Brentford. Then we've got Sunderland, Liverpool, Brighton, and Nottingham Forest. That's actually a very good fixtures, because every single team here, they are conceding goals a lot, including this game that is upcoming for them. So Bruno Fernandes is someone worth investing in because of his good upcoming fixtures for Man United. And if you look at the teams that they played already, they've played Arsenal, Man City, and Chelsea. So they've had a very tough run of games. And you can see GameWeek 1 they played Arsenal, Fulham. So Bruno played well when he played against Burnley, and he played well against Chelsea. So if we look at the upcoming fixtures, I think he has good potential. He scored 1 goal. So you can, another thing to notice, when Bruno Fernandes scores a goal, he's been getting good bonus points. So if you look at game week 3 and 5, he scored 1 goal each on both those game weeks, and he got 2 bonus points on game week 3 and 3 bonus points on game week 5. So, and then in game week 3 as well, he had 2 defensive contribution points. So he is definitely someone I'm gonna consider investing in. Definitely. Okay. But other than that, the teams look very evenly matched. Very evenly matched teams. So there's not much for me to say. There's no clear the data and the stats is not clearly favoring a particular team. So I'll leave it at that. Next game, Chelsea are going to be hosting Brighton at home. Alright, so if we have a quick skim through, goals, there's a big difference between the league rankings, but right now I don't think it's too important because, it's only 5 game weeks in. Teams are changing ranks on a weekly basis, so let's just skip the top 3 lines at the moment. But the goals scored in the past 3 game weeks is 5 each, and the goals conceded in the past 3 game weeks, it's 4 and 5. So Chelsea have conceded 1 less goal in comparison to Brighton. And it's quite crazy because they're very different league ranking, even though the stats are very similar. Okay, so if we go to the teams, let's have a look at both teams. Chelsea, they had a very disappointing day yesterday. They only got 24 points. It was disappointing because I've got Pedro, I think more than half the people, 67% of all of FPL community have Pedro in their team, so it was quite disappointing. Casado is someone who was a very big target in the last game week. He scored 4. That's because he got 2 defensive contribution points. So, and Chalaba, he scored a goal. I was watching the match. He scored the point. He scored the goal and he got 2 defensive contribution points as well. So he got 8 in total, even though they've conceded 2 goals. Looking at Brighton. Let's look at last game or current game week 5. Brighton Minte, I admire his football. I've been watching him play. He's been very good. He's been very aggressive. And if I just look at his entire history so far, he is the top performing player for Brighton. 24 points is not bad at all. He got 9 points. He got a goal. He got 2 bonus points. So he got 9 points in total. He got 6 points in last game week. In game week 4, that's because 1 assist. He's dropped minutes in this game week, so that's something to potentially be worried about. His price is 5.9, which is average, or actually below average. He's selected by 1%. His fixtures, okay. Brighton versus Wolves seemed like an interesting game. So I would suggest having Minte from Brighton in your team. Definitely. Because he is the best player in Brighton at the moment. And he's got some decent games coming up. But he'll be a must-have for game week 7, I would say. Definitely. Okay. So overall, if we go back to Chelsea versus Brighton, it's a very balanced game again. So it's a very balanced game. I would, if you want to, you could get Minte in your team in preparation for game week 7. Chelsea players, nearly everyone has a lot of Chelsea players, so I wouldn't suggest you get new players or remove players from Chelsea. But that would be my advice. Moving on to Crystal Palace and Liverpool. If I remember correctly, didn't they play? They played the Community Shield together and another game end of last season. I think another final as well. I forgot. But if we look at the stats, we can see, I'm quite surprised, Crystal Palace scored more goals than Liverpool in the past 3 game weeks. But they've conceded 1 goal each. So both the defenses are not bad at all. One thing that you clearly notice when you look at Crystal Palace throughout the 5 game weeks so far is that majority of the points are coming from the defenders. You can see here, look at that. 36 points from Mark Guehi. And Mitchell scored a goal this game week, so he's got decent points, 8 points, so he's catching up with everyone. But the Crystal Palace defense is someone you have to have Crystal Palace defenders in your team, especially one of those 2 or 3. One of those 3. I think it's important that one of the lessons I've learned from this game week is I was so convinced that Spurs are gonna um, have a clean sheet that I put the goalkeeper in and a defender in, and if they concede, then that you miss out on a lot of points. So it might be better to have a balance in place from defenders from different teams. So if a team flops or concedes, then you've got other players to get the points for you. So on that basis, Crystal Palace defenders like Mark Guehi or like Lacroix and Mitchell is worth investing in them. All the other players are pretty average point. Mateta hasn't exactly he's only scored 16 points in total, and there are much better players than him, so I wouldn't consider investing him. But if we look at the upcoming matches, Liverpool, Everton, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Brentford, they're actually quite tough fixtures. Liverpool is definitely hard. Everton are very good. Bournemouth, Arsenal, they've got difficult run of fixtures. And who are they playing against again? Liverpool. Let's look at Liverpool. Let's see how they perform this week. 51 points in total. Gravenberch saved the day. 15 points, 1 goal, 1 assist, 3 bonus points, 2 defensive contribution. Mad points. So Etike as well, he scored a goal, so he got 8 points. Defenders didn't do amazing. Okay, and who is playing home? Let me have a quick look. Liverpool will be playing away at Crystal Palace, yes. I can see that here. Okay, so my summary for Crystal Palace and Liverpool would be no major changes. I mean, nearly everyone's got a Liverpool player. This game, I think, could potential. Liverpool is somehow winning matches. They've got this kind of edge, but it's difficult to predict who's going to score because Liverpool have a lot of attacking players, and at any point anyone can score or assist. Mohamed Salah, he is not performing as well as Haaland, so maybe it's time to make the switch. He is scoring some points, so if you have a team with both the players, then you can kind of guarantee that both of them are going to be getting you points. But something to think about. I'm going to have a think about this over the next few days to see what I'm going to do personally and what to advise. Moving on to Leeds versus Bournemouth. Okay. 3 goals in the past 3 games, 3 each, 2-1. Okay. So my first thoughts are both teams are not scoring as much, an average of 1 goal per game, and then both teams are not conceding as much as well. Bournemouth's defense they've only conceded 1 goal in the past 3 game weeks, which is very good. If we look at Bournemouth, again, Bournemouth's defenders, let's look at overall. We can see Senesi's been getting good points, and I think I transferred him in the past game week, so he did get me 9 points. Thank you very much. I'll take it. Yeah, so the Trafford, who's Trafford? He got 9 points as well. How did he get 9 points? He got 3 bonus points. So that's really good. And they're going to be playing against Leeds. I've already looked into Leeds. Yeah, there's no clear favorite when it comes to the defenders. Leeds had a good game. Let's see. Leeds at 3-1. Okay. Again, I would say the fact that Bournemouth have got a good record when it comes to the defense is definitely worth having Senesi or Trafford in your team if you don't already have Bournemouth defenders. They're clearly very strong. Okay. Next game, Man City versus Burnley. One thing I notice here that the number of goals Man City has scored in the past 3 game weeks is 5, and Burnley has conceded 5 in the past game week. They are playing away as well, so this is gonna be a chance for Man City to score a good number of goals. That's my prediction. And so I think this is the right time to get Haaland. If you don't have Haaland already, this is the time to get him. He is definitely going to score. Now let's look at the top attackers from Man City to date, and we can clearly see Haaland has 6 attacking returns. So look at his stats. He played only 75 minutes and he got a goal. Okay. I think they are protecting him because he's playing so well. His current value is 14.2. It's likely going to go up considering he is the number 1 transfer right now in the past couple of hours. So he is definitely someone you need to invest in. Let's have a quick look at Haaland versus Salah. Let's press what is going on. Yeah. Yes. Haaland, Salah. What is going on? Something's not right. Okay. Need to fix this again. Okay, I'll have to come back to that. See what's wrong. I'll have to fix this for later. Okay. All right. Okay. Quite funny how all this suddenly happened, but I'll fix it after the video. Anyways, Nottingham Forest. Okay, so to summarize, this game is pretty simple. Man City. Oh, I need to see Burnley actually. Burnley have. Let's see how the defense is. So the top performing defender is Ekdal, and we can see they have conceded apart from game week 2, they have conceded every single week. Now when you're going to be playing against Man City, you're guaranteed, you're definitely going to concede. So Anthony is the top performing player. Let's see. Okay, so he's had 2 really good game weeks, and that's game week number 2 and game week number 5. His value is 5.5 mil. That is actually quite low for a midfielder. So if you want to squeeze in a player, a good player, and have Salah and Haaland in your team, he is someone to consider. And Burnley have got good, decent games coming up. After Man City, they play Aston Villa, who can't find the net. Okay, they found the net today, but 1 goal in 5 game weeks. So that is a good chance of attacking returns as well from Burnley. Then they're playing against Leeds and Wolves. And let's have a quick look where Leeds are on the league table. Leeds are mid-table. Wolves are at the bottom. Okay, so Burnley. So to summarize, my final thoughts for this game is you must have Haaland for game week 6. You must have him. And then you should have it's worth investing in other Man City attacking players. Let's have a quick look. I know Foden scored a few goals, Doku scored a few goals. Overall, who is the second most? Reinders. I've got him on my team. He was on my bench this week, so I lost out on 9 points. Oh dear. And so he is still the top player. Doku as well, Foden. So any one of these can score goals as well, but it's best to have these 2 at least, definitely. Moving on to the next game. Nottingham Forest versus Sunderland. Now, Nottingham Forest have only scored 1 goal in the past 3 games, which is very poor. Sunderland scored 3 goals in the past 3 games, but look at this, they've conceded 7 goals. Nottingham Forest's defense is the weakest. So let's have a look at Sunderland. We can see they had a really good game week 1 and a decent game week 4, but this game week they haven't really played well. And just looking at the team overall, we can see every player, the best players, and there's only 3 of them are in the 20s. It's not exactly amazing. It's either average or below. So, but they're going to play against Nottingham Forest. So the best, this Wilson Isidore is someone interesting. The problem with him, he doesn't get full games. He's been scoring goals. You can see he scored 3 goals in 3 different game weeks. But he doesn't play many games. But he seems like a very impact player. So that's something that you should consider. Wilson Isidore of Sunderland. He's someone to consider for the next game week. Definitely. Shaka. Just average 4 points. Alderate. A lot of defensive contributions. 3 games in a row with defensive contribution points, which is good. When they play against Nottingham Forest, if he has a clean sheet and gets contribution points, then you're looking at 8 to 10 points from him. So Omar Alderete is someone to consider as well for the next game week. Okay, moving on. So just to summarize, this game, Nottingham Forest versus Sunderland, I would consider investing in a Sunderland forward and a Sunderland defender, purely because they are playing a team who is struggling to score and is conceding a lot. So that's my prediction. Next game, Tottenham versus Wolves. Now, that seems like the game of the week for me, in which you could expect the most attacking returns from Spurs. I know Spurs didn't have a great game week 5, but they're going to play against a team right at the bottom of the table who've conceded 7 goals as well in the past 3 game weeks, same as Nottingham Forest, and they've scored 3 goals. So if we look at Tottenham are playing home. Tottenham, if we just sort it by the highest points, we can see Spurs have the second highest points out of the entire table, and these are FPL points, by the way. So 298 points, and they're going to play against Wolves, right? I keep forgetting so quickly. They're going to play against Wolves, which is at the bottom, and Wolves has 138 points in total, and you can see none of the players from Wolves have even reached 20 points yet. So looking at Spurs, let's see who to invest in. Now, we know Van de Ven is one of the top selected players, 33%. He's been playing nearly every single game, yes. They played against Brighton. I kind of predicted they're going to have a clean sheet, but they didn't. Fair enough. But they're going to play against Wolves. I predict it's going to be a clean sheet for Tottenham as well. You never know, but it's a very highly likely clean sheet and some goals. So, who is the next best player? Especially in attacking returns. Let's click on attacking returns. And attacking returns is goals and assists. So looking at Spurs, the top player with the most attacking returns is it Mohamed Kudus? Is his first name Mohamed? Yes, Mohamed Kudus and Richarlison. They have 4 attacking returns each for the past 5 game weeks. So Kudus has more assists, so all of his attacking returns are assists, whilst Richarlison has 3 goals and 1 assist. And they have very similar points. So they have 25 and 29 points, I think. And bonus points, if we just click on bonus points, then click on Spurs, and we can see Richarlison has 6 bonus points, and his bonus points came by getting the maximum bonus points for 2 separate game weeks, whereas Kudus, he's only got 1 bonus point, and that was for game week 1. So he clearly doesn't really get much bonus points. And Vicario has been getting a lot of bonus points as well. And he's been getting game bonus points quite regularly actually. So he's definitely someone to have in your team. And I have him on my team. Okay, so that's a easy one to predict. So to summarize, Tottenham versus Wolves. Wolves are going to concede, most likely. It's just a matter of who is going to score from Tottenham, and I would, let's look at Richarlison's minutes actually. That's in my head now. Richarlison 90, 19, 90, 77, 71. Okay, he played the full match. Pardon me. So is he going to play the full match? So they put him on playing against Brighton. They're definitely going to put him on for Wolves. So he is someone to invest in. Richarlison is someone to have on your team for game week 6. Okay, moving on to Aston Villa versus Fulham. Look at this. Aston Villa are struggling to score. They've only scored 1. Fulham scored 4. And they had a really good last game week. I watched the highlights. I think 1 or 2 disallowed goals. But they look like they are they're in a team on fire. So, and at the same time, Aston Villa have conceded 4. Fulham have conceded 3. So just a quick look shows that Fulham are more likely to win. If we look into more detail, Aston Villa overall very, very poor. But you can see apart from Cash and Mings, everyone else is under 25 in terms of points. I know Cash scored today, so he shot up, but before that he was on 15 points only. How is the game going to pan out? Aston Villa versus Fulham. Fulham are gonna come attacking. Aston Villa, if they're on the best game, you could have a look. They've conceded in 3 games, and they've had clean sheets in 2 games. So, and these 2 games that they had clean sheets, it was against Everton and Newcastle. So Fulham are actually, I would say, a similar team, a similar wavelength to Newcastle and Everton. Therefore, could we assume that Aston Villa are going to have another clean sheet? Possibly, maybe not. But then again, they conceded against Crystal Palace, Brentford, and Sunderland. So, can't really say that they're going to have a clean sheet. Especially when they're playing against a team on fire. Let's have a look at Fulham. Fulham got 51 points. Not exactly a team on fire, I would say. But you can see Anderson has got 23 points. So he's been getting defensive contribution points nearly every single week. Apart from game week 1, he got defensive contribution points 4 weeks in a row. That's mad. If we look at Iwobi as well, he's been playing very well, and he always plays well actually, but his points hasn't been amazing. He had a good game week, 1 goal, 1 assist. That's what you would expect. Got 3 bonus points. How is he going to perform against Aston Villa? That since Aston Villa are conceding a lot of goals, I would also say have Alex Iwobi in your team. That's one of my advice, I would say. Muniz, he scored as well today. Assisted. And I think he had a disallowed goal, possibly, because I thought I saw him score a goal on the highlights. But yeah, he's not getting 90 minutes. He hasn't. So someone I wouldn't really advise to invest in. He will be, in terms of minutes, he's not been getting 90 minutes as well by the looks of it, but he's playing most of the game. Okay, so to summarize, where is it? To summarize, I would invest in Iwobi. If I was to do a wild card, which I don't plan on doing, actually I might change my mind over the next couple of days, but I would have Iwobi in my team for sure. And let's have a quick look at Fulham's fixtures. Brentford. Okay, so Fulham are playing Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Newcastle, and West Ham. So they've got a bit of a tough fixture actually. Okay, but but it's still worth having Iwobi in your team. You could move him in and out of the bench if you want to. Okay, Newcastle versus Arsenal. We can clearly see that Newcastle are struggling to score goals. Arsenal have 4 goals in the past 3 game weeks, which is quite good, or maybe average, or I would say above average actually. In terms of conceding, Arsenal have conceded 2, whilst Newcastle have conceded none in the past 3 game weeks. And Newcastle are playing home as well. So let's have a look at it in detail. We can see that there's 11 places, 11 ranks difference between the 2 teams. Let's have a look at Newcastle and Arsenal. I know Arsenal have been performing very well. Maybe not in the past game week, but they did manage to score a goal right at the end, which is a good statement. Martinelli has been playing quite well actually. Let's just unselect game week 5. Let's look at the entire where is Martinelli? 12 points only. 7-1. Oh, look at the minutes. He's owned by 1%. He's been getting barely any minutes, so he seems like an impact player. But I do like Eze. If we look at Eze, he got 1 assist, so he got 4 points. He only played 45 minutes. What's going on? Rice, he played full 90 minutes. Zubimendi, 90 minutes, and he got 2 points only. Victor, 90 minutes, 2 points only. Nothing. He was quite quiet in that game, I guess. Calafiori, 2 points as well. Okay, so Arsenal versus Newcastle. So if we just look at the total points, we can see Newcastle are actually one of the top teams to have a total FPL points. And I have Burn in my team. I think I transferred him over recently, so I did get good points from him, so I'm quite happy with the choice I made. So I think, to summarize, Newcastle versus Arsenal, I actually think it's gonna be a draw, potentially 0-0. And if there is a team scoring, it's likely it's going to be Arsenal. So and it has to be a spectacular goal, I think, like a free kick or where the goalkeeper has no chance at all. So I've got Newcastle defenders. I'll keep them. I'll keep, if you have Arsenal strikers, Victor, keep him out as well. It's a bit of an unpredictable game, but I think it's going to be 0-0. So I would prioritize defenders more than attackers in this match. The final game, Everton versus West Ham. Okay, 4 goals scored between in the past 3 games for both teams, and 4 and 5 goals conceded in the past 3 games between both teams. Very, very similar teams. The ranking, 3 points and 7 points, 9 different. So okay, so what we notice here immediately is, although their stats when it comes to scoring goals and conceding goals are very similar, Everton have the edge when it comes to grinding points out, because they've got more points than West Ham, even though the stats are very similar. So it seems like Everton are more of a tactical team, and I actually admire the way they play. So let's have a look at the team in more detail. So Everton, let's see how they performed. Okay, you can see quite a few players has 20 plus points. So 2 defenders, Tarkowski, Keane, they've got 26 and 20 points. You can see, look at that, Tarkowski is getting defensive contribution points every single match, but that is not convincing enough for me to get him, because he's still a good player. I wouldn't say not to have him, because sometimes defensive contribution points is not enough. If you look at their fixtures, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Man City, Spurs, they've got a tough run of fixtures. So after West Ham, they've got Crystal Palace, who are quite good. Man City and Spurs are one of the top team performers at the moment. So they've got a tough run, to be honest. But if we look at their defenders, they've got 3 or 4 defenders with 20 or more points. Iliman Ndiaye, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but he's been a good average player. But 6.5 million for him, that's a bit high, to be honest, isn't it? But midfielders do cost a lot. So I would say that's below average for his price. He's selected by 8.8, so that's quite a lot of people who selected him, and he's been getting decent amount of points. He got this defensive contribution points this game week and the game week before. So looking at game week 4, they had a clean sheet, but he still got 5 points only. How is that possible? So, and he got 2 contribution points, 2 defensive contribution points. So that doesn't really make sense. Unless he got a yellow card, possibly. Okay, so Everton versus West Ham. West Ham, if we look at overall, there's only two players who have 20 or more points. So that's Lucas Paqueta. I know he's been selected by quite a few people recently. He hasn't been performing well for the past two game weeks. Very poor. And Bowen, I love Bowen. Bowen scored a goal this game week. They are playing Everton, Arsenal, Brentford, Leeds and Newcastle. Okay. So just to finalize, Everton versus West Ham, I would think that stats are very similar. They're very leaky at the back. West Ham have been very leaky at the back. Everton, there's no high performing attacking players in Everton, I would say. So potentially for this match, I would predict Grealish is going to get an assist. So my advice for this game, I know Grealish is one of the highest transfers. He was one of the highest transfers past game week, I think, or the week before that. So now it's going to come to use if you have him in your team. Grealish is worth having at Everton, from Everton. I do like Bowen, so I would go for attacking players in this match. I would assume both teams are going to concede, so the best options here would be Bowen, Lucas, Grealish, and NDA. These are the four people I would advise, or I would think would be scoring goals. Definitely one of these four people are going to score a goal. Anyways, this is the final game, so thanks for watching my first ever stream. If you have questions, feel free to drop a message on the comments and I will try my best to get back to you. Going forward, I would make a couple of more videos summarizing what I've said and maybe have a second think about what are the best players, and then I'll produce some more videos. So do subscribe, like video, share, and I'll see you soon. See you later.